Aisha has $100 saved from her job. She wants to buy as many charms for her bracelet at $4 each and earrings at $5 per set as she can without spending all of her money. The inequality represents her spending, where X is the number of charms and Y is the number of sets of earrings. So let's take a look at this inequality for just a minute. This is saying that she's going to pay, let me back off my pen a little bit. This is saying that she's going to pay $4 for every charm, and that she's going to pay $5 for every set of earrings. Let's do the word per. And she does not want to spend all of her money. So we want her to be less than her $100. And it didn't say that she could spend $100. She has to stay below $100. So she needs to have at least 1 cent left under $100. Which ordered pair, X and Y, represents a combination of charms and earrings Aisha can buy? So we're going to need to test each of these ordered pairs to see if it will actually fit the inequality that we have. And that was 4x plus 5y is less than 100. So for this first pair, the x value is 16 and the y value is 8. And then we just need to see if that comes out to be less than 100. 4 times 16 is 64. 5 eighths are 40. And so we can see that that is not a true statement. This would actually be 104, and that is not less than 100. So this is not the answer. And I'll let you in on a little hint here. I've been taking math tests for a lot of years. And usually with this kind of problem, it will be one of the last two, because they want me to go through all of these to find an answer. If I were on a time test, I would start at the bottom. I would start with option E. And let me just show you what I mean by that. I'm going to take my inequality. We're using this sort of as a test case. And I'm going to put the 5 in for the x and the 16 in for the y. And I can't promise you that this is the answer. It's usually, in my experience, one of the last two, but not always. Sometimes it can be A. But if you start at the bottom and work your way backwards, sometimes you can save a little time. So 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 16 is 80. And be careful here. This is saying that 100 is less than 100. And that's not true. 100 equals 100. So it's not E. My plan may not work. Let's try D and see what we get. So I have 4x plus 5y is less than 100. So 4 times 6, that's 24. And 5 times 15, I'm liking this one, that's going to be 75. And is that less than 100? Well, if you add 24 and 75, you get 99. And that is indeed less than 100. So if I were on a time test, I would go with this one. But I am going to finish this for you so that you can see them all worked out. Here was A. here was E, here was D. On a practice test like this that's not timed, this is very good practice for you to do. It helps you get faster at these kinds of problems. But if I were taking a time test, I would not go through this. So this is B. I have 4 times 15 plus 5 times 8, and that is less than 100. So 4 times 15 is 60. 5 eighths are 40. And 100 is not less than 100. It is 100. So this is not true. That could not be the choice. And then let's take a look at C, where we have 4x and 5y being less than 100. So 4 times 9 plus 5 times 13 should be less than 100. 4 nines are 36. And 5 times 13, I may have to get my calculator. Let me see, that's 15. 65 is less than 100. And let's see what we get. If you add 36 and 65, you get 101. And that is not less than 100. So the only one of these that is true is D. And that's the answer we're looking for. This is a lot of work, especially if a timer's ticking. So a tip is to start at the bottom and work your way backwards. Won't hurt anything. If A is the answer, you just have to work backwards to get it. You can also use some reasoning skills, if you're good at that, to narrow these down. But this is not my favorite problem. There's a lot of work involved in that one. But for number 3, I would go with D as in Delta.